Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover how to get set up for modding Bloons Tower Defense 5 or battles on Windows. We won't be making any mods in this video, we're just going to be getting everything set up. In this video, I'm going to cover 2, maybe 3 different ways on how we can do our mods in Windows. Since it's Windows, you guys can use BTToolbox. You shouldn't use anything else. BTToolbox is a program we made specifically for modding BTD. It has everything you could need, so we're going to cover that first, and let's get started. So go to your favorite search engine and type in BTD5, and it should pop up on GitHub right here. I'm going to have the link for this in the description. So this is a GitHub page. So we have the source code stuff right here, which you guys can access and do whatever you want with. We've also got a little README right here. What's important for us is the releases section right here. So when you see that, go ahead and click on it. And as of today, we have the first official release of BTToolbox. So whatever release is on top, you want to get that one. So you do that by clicking this little zip button right here. If it looks like this and you don't see anything, just go ahead and click on this little arrow right here and it'll drop down, and then you want to get the zip file. You don't want to get the source code unless you want to mess with it. So go ahead and click save, and I'm going to save this to my desktop. So I'm on my desktop. I'm going to make a new folder for BTToolbox specifically. You're going to have to do this too wherever you end up putting it. So I'm going to do BTToolbox for YouTube, and I'm going to drag this in there. You want to make sure nothing else is inside this. And then you're going to need 7-zip for this. I believe Windows 10 allows you to open zip files. If you have some kind of zip program, you just right click, hover over like WinRAR, or I have 7-zip, so I'm going to hover over 7-zip and click extract here. And it'll extract the files. If you don't have that or you don't see that, just try double clicking on it on the zip file and see if anything pops up or if you go inside of a folder. If you do all that and you don't see files like this in some way, you're going to have to download a zip program. Doing that is pretty easy. Go back to your internet, go back to the search engine and type in, I recommend 7-zip. So type in 7-zip, go to 7-zip's website and download one of these two. If you have a 32-bit operating system, probably get the 32-bit. If not, get the 64-bit. You're actually not going to want to get it from these like I just highlighted. You want to get them from right here because this is the official release and these are the alpha in testing versions. So anyways, click download, save it, go through the download, and then when you're done downloading it, you should be able to open this. Just select it all and then drag it. The end goal is we want to have these files in this folder. Now to get started with BTToolbox, you're just going to double click on BTToolbox.exe. If you don't see the .exe, just click on whatever says BTToolbox. And then it's going to open up the program. There is a slight chance, depending on which virus protection you have, that it'll trigger and say, hey, we don't know what this file is, and it's going to scan it. So just wait until it's done scanning it. I've looked into it thoroughly. The reason why that happens is because it's not a very well-known program. It's not in Avast's, or that's my virus protection, but it's not in your virus protections database. So it's not sure what it is. It's just some exe by an unknown publisher. So it's scanning it, and that'll take about 10 to 15 seconds, but then it'll say, oh, we're sorry to have messed with you. We can tell this program's not a virus, and you'll be good. And then it shouldn't come up again. Anyways, this is the welcome message. You guys can read this at your own time. So I'm just going to click OK. And to use BTToolbox, you're just going to click File at the top, click New, and either BTD5 project if you're modding BTD5, or BTD Battles project if you're modding BTD Battles. Now you can mod jet files for any of the games. So then if you don't have one of those games, say you're modding like data.jet for BTD Battles on Android, you can use BTToolbox to edit that jet file, and you would do that by clicking a new project from jet file, no game, which basically means it's not gonna care what game it is. It's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna take your jet file. Now the way BTToolbox works is it needs to make a backup of your game, because how else can you have unmodified projects if they're all modded already? Like, you need to be able to have unmodded files. So to do that, there's two things you can do. The easiest way is to just click on the Help tab right here at the top, and then click on Validate Game Files, and then validate BTD5 or Battles. This is going to use Steam's validation tool to make sure that your files are unmodded. If your files are modded, this won't work. You will have problems. So validate your files so they're unmodded, and then when it's done, Steam will let you know, and then you can click File, New, and then create your project. Because if you don't, you're going to start off with modded, possibly broken files. So I'm going to click BTD5. We have this little console window down here. When you first launch BTToolbox, it needs to get your BTD5 or Battles directory, and it's going to try to do that automatically. For me, it worked. It was able to find it automatically, so we have this Create New Project window. If it doesn't find your BTD5 or Battles directory, it's going to ask you to browse for the exe. So you're going to go to your program files, Steam, Steam Apps, your common folder, and then BTD5 or Battles. If you have a problem finding that, just go to Steam, right click on the game BTD5 or Battles, click Properties, then click Local Files, and then you're going to click Browse Local Files, and then just copy that directory, the path, and paste it inside Toolbox, and you should be able to do it. The whole point is you got to browse for your exe, and if Toolbox doesn't find it automatically, you'll have to do it by hand. Now I'm going to create a random project. We'll just call it Random Project. And I'll press enter, and now it's extracting it. If you're familiar with the previous tutorial series, this is basically using 7-zip to extract all your files to a project directory. You can also see it's creating a backup right now of my project, so we can view our files unmodded. You can resize the windows with this little like thing at the bottom right corner. It might get a little glitchy, but it's fine. And again, it's just at this bottom right corner. You can move windows around if you want. To browse your project files, just double click on these little folders here. You can even scroll right there. You can move this little sidebar. But yeah, now you can look inside all the files like normal, whatever method you're using. I'm gonna just go to the tower definitions file or folder, and you can open up like the Dart Monkey, for example, and drag that across. There you go. You can open different stuff. We'll get into all the tools that Toolbox has. I don't want to keep this too long. Basically, you can see that what Toolbox is doing. Toolbox has some easy tools. You know, you can click on Easy Tower, which is a tool that basically makes tower modding easy. So it's this right here is the same as this, except it's easier to read. So Toolbox has those. You can modify the upgrades. Another feature of BTToolbox is you can automatically get the password for BTD Battles. I think you just click on Tools, and then you click on Get BTD Password, and it'll take you through all that. You can get BTD fonts. We got some sprite editing stuff, and yeah. Lastly, to launch or to save your file with BTToolbox, there's a bunch of things you can do. You can just press Control-S, and it'll ask you to save it to a specific place. If you're trying to test your game to see if your mod works, you can just press this launch button at the top, or you can press F5 on your keyboard, and it'll automatically compile your mod back together, save it to your BTD game, and launch your game. And it takes like a second to launch, so I really recommend you use Toolbox if you can. You can also save it by clicking this save button down here. Or I think File and Save. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Anyways, that's it for BTToolbox. If you guys want to see the other method, check out the part 2 to this video. Otherwise, let's go straight into learning how to mod.